Hey guys, got two quick games to share with you today on a topic that everybody needs to know, and it is the smothered mate. Now, a smothered mate can only be delivered, I think, by a knight that puts the king in check. The knight can't be captured, and the king has no squares in which to move. So let me take you through the first game, both games that I've played today. Okay, so in this first game I'm playing with the white pieces. My opponent's rated over 1300. Start with e4, e5, the Vienna game, knight to c3, and we have the Vienna gambit. Accepts, and I advance the pawn to e5, giving the knight nowhere to go. So the knight can't go here or here because of my knight, and can't go here or here because of the queen. So there's only really two options. One is to retreat the knight all the way back to g8, and the other one is queen to e7, which you meet by queen to e2. So now the queen can't take the pawn, and the knight still has the same problem, has to retreat. Now the correct move is d4, and we have here queen to h4 check. That's not too big a problem, you just move the king to one side. Now we have knight out to d4, to c6, attacking my d4 pawn. But I can play now knight to f3, hitting both the queen and also defending this pawn here. Queen retreats, and now we attack the queen again. So this is a fork on both the queen and the c7 pawn, so the queen has to retreat now to d8. So black is looking very much behind in development. You can grab the pawn here with the bishop, and then we have knight to e7. I now pin the knight, bishop is kicked, and I advance the bishop to f6. Now, here comes the threat. This is not a sacrifice of the bishop, because if pawn were to take, then we have knight takes f6, and that is a beautiful smothered mate. Quite rare, but it's a tactic that you need to know about. So my opponent here spots the danger, advances a pawn, and the game continues from that point. And I actually go on to win this one. Now let me show you game number 2. Okay, here my opponent's rated over 1500, and we have the Vienna game again and the Vienna gambit. But my opponent here plays the correct move, the best move, which is d5. Now you take the pawn attacking the knight, and so on. So I here capture with the d2 pawn, and the game continues. Attacks my knight. I put my bishop up to here, which is apparently a mistake. There we go. And I start pushing up on the king side. And now this was an error on my part. Moving my queen to here gave my bishop no squares in which to move. So my opponent spots that, very well done. And my bishop is lost. Captures the bishop. Obviously I recapture with the c pawn, at least rebuilding my pawn structure and giving me fairly good central control. Queen comes out now, it's not too big a threat, and we attack the queen. Queen captures the pawn there, and now I bring my knight across to, my rook comes across to f1, adding a second defender to this knight. Bishop takes, bishop, and queen recaptures. So now I have a reasonable pawn structure here. I'm down a whole piece, and now we have a proposed exchange of queens. I don't want to do that, because my only option here is to try and deliver a good attack. Rook comes across to g1, in line with the king, hits the queen, checkmate threat, and pushes pawn takes, and now rook across to e1, attacking the queen. Queen comes in, hit the queen again, queen comes back with check, and I move my king to one side. Another check, and now I figure that the king on a1 looks fairly safe. Knight comes now to e3, hitting my queen. I move my queen aside, and now we have a check. There's only one move. King to b1, another check. So I have two options. I can move my king to c1 or to a1. Here I decide to move my king to a1, and can you see the glorious and beautiful finish? This is an absolutely classic pattern, right? And it involves a wonderful sacrifice. They're a truly beautiful, beautiful finish. Queen to b1 check. And there is only one legal move. I have to capture the queen. And I was here thinking, I actually sent some question marks to my opponent, going, what on earth are you doing? But this is what he's doing. Knight to c2, check and mate. A beautiful smothered mate. So that's two consecutive games. One where my opponent spotted the, well, both where my opponent spotted the smothered mate threat or opportunity. In the first one, he did very well to figure out the threat and didn't fall for it. In the second one, just glorious. Full credit to my opponent in that one. Very, very good game and a wonderful finish. So this is something you need to look out for. There are lots of puzzles and examples of smothered mates out there that you can check out. I think Morphy has a very, very elegant smothered mate example that's attributed to him. So yeah, just a tactic that you need to know. It's great when you can get it, and just wanted to share that with you. So thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.